Room 442 is brought to you by North Star Bets. That's a win.
The Premier League is wrapped up. The Bundesliga is also wrapped up. And what a weekend it was for both. I'm Sarah Pararia, joined alongside James Sharman. This is Room 442. James, I feel like I say this almost every weekend, but what a weekend it was for football.
Crazy.
It was the last weekend. Almost all the ties were tied up. But no. There was still drama.
Still just enough drama, right? Whether it's promotion playoffs, whether it's, relegation battles, titles. It really had it all once again, didn't it? And
managers.
Yeah. And it's almost like this sense of relief now in that, that this season was so crazy. I mean, it was a great season in many ways across Europe, but there were so many narratives and storylines that now we can kind of breathe a little bit.
Yeah.
It's going to be a crazy summer as well, but just for there's no time to breathe because it's the FA Cup final this weekend and the Champions League. We have Europa League final this Wednesday as well,
yeah.
Conference League next week, Euro qualifying coming up, Nations League,
Gold Cup, and then the Women's World Cup, which will take us right into next year's Premier League. No, there really is. I don't think there is one full week without any football. So, yeah, I mean, we have jobs, and this is why we're here.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's great. But let's get into the headlines of the weekend, starting off with your first one. Oh, I actually don't know how to say his name. Lockyer?
Lockyer, yeah.
Okay. Good start. Tom Lockyer celebrates Luton's promotion from hospital bed after Wembley collapse.
Yeah, I mean, really disturbing scenes in the first half of the conference playoff between Coventry and Luton. In the first half, there he is. Lockyer gets carried off. He collapses, essentially. The players play the remainder of the game, not knowing what's going on. They win on penalties to get promotion to the Premier League, which we'll get to in a second. But then that's what is tweeted out. He's fine. Obviously undergoing tests right now, but a scary scene. But to see that celebration in the room just added to this crazy day for the promotion playoff, the richest game in world sports, right? Because whoever wins that game wins promotion to the Premier League. With that comes £100 million plus potential parachute payments if you get relegated. If you stay in the Prem, even more money comes your way. It's worth so much money. And to see Luton Town, a team that I used to watch back in the 1980s, in this tiny ground of Kenilworth Road, just over 10,000 people watch football there.
So small.
It's tiny. And to get into the ground, you go through essentially row housing. It's a real old school, proper football ground. It's tiny. There's no frills.
It's so English, isn't it, too?
It's so English,
like, just as somebody who isn't English, when I look at it, I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what I would expect.
Yeah, exactly. And now they're going to obviously throw money into it to reach the standards of the Premier League and eventually get a new stadium, which they want to do for about 17,000 capacity. But it'll be the smallest ground in the Prem behind Bournemouth. And it feels, I don't know, now and again you get these teams that might go straight back down, they might not, but it's just a great story.
It is.
It really is a team that lost points years ago for financial issues. They have no cash really, but they found a way to get through the League Championship playoffs, and here we are, a new face, so to speak, in the Premier League.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's always exciting when somebody new, a smaller team, comes in, because, listen, you never know what can happen. And look at the likes of, the Nottingham Forest and Bournemouth this year. They're staying up and they're holding themselves.
Look at Brighton, another tiny team who are just bossing it in the Premier League right now. Who knows?
Exactly, but word is that McAllister and Caicedo are out of there, so
they'll find someone else.
They will. I hope they will, because it's been a pleasure watching them. My headline, it's more so the first half of this. Dortmund show Arsenal how to shit the bed in style, and then why Luton in the Premier League is ludicrous. I don't even want to focus on that because Borussia Dortmund absolutely bottled it. I was fuming, James. It's been 11 years since they've won. And now,
since anyone's won outside Bayern Munich.
It's just, do you know what? I think the bigger picture here is how bad this is for the Bundesliga. Finally, a year where Bayern, weren't playing well. We saw them in the Champions League. Obviously, all the turmoil that happened, Nagelsmann and then Thomas Tuchel, and all of that aside, Oliver Kahn. And then Borussia Dortmund winning ahead in the league, and then in the last moment decide, nah.
You know what? They're up. So 2 points up on Bayern Munich, right? You're playing Mainz, who's a mid-table team, right? Bayern's playing Cologne, a mid-table team. Both teams should win that, right? You win and you guarantee yourself the championship.
That's it.
You're down 2-0.
To Mainz.
To Mainz within, 15 minutes?
Yeah.
And at halftime, you're down 2-0. Haller misses a penalty. It's denied.
So Sebastian Haller's not their primary penalty taker either. What was the decision being made that he... And listen, nothing against him. We know everything that he's gone through this year.
Yeah,
and
great
story. Exactly. But you're not the penalty taker. What are we doing?
I don't know. I mean, there's so many question marks. They came so close. And for Musiala, who's brilliant, but has been, not great since the World Cup, to come on off the bench of Bayern, 89th minute, score the goal that gives Bayern Munich the championship again on goals. It's just incredible, right? And I will say, you look at the Dortmund Stadium, one of the greatest stadiums in world football. That's, speaking of stadiums, and the way the fans did applaud them. I mean, they were brokenhearted, but they gave them love because they came that close to beating the evil Bayern Munich, right? And you're right. I don't think it's good for German football. You want a new face now and again. That being said, Bayern, they win the championship, and the first thing they announce is they fired the CEO Oliver Kahn and Salihamidzic.
See you later.
It's crazy. And Kahn wasn't even invited to the celebrations or the match because he didn't deal well with the news he found out on Thursday. So you still win the championship, but you don't win the Champions League.
Yeah.
And you almost lose the league. That shows the standards at Bayern Munich, right? But just a crazy day altogether.
No, just incredible. But I think overall, there was rumors this morning that is Thomas Tuchel staying. Apparently he is, but they're waiting for the new director. It seems like there's also a lot of issues that need fixing at Bayern over this summer, so I'm sure they'll be busy. But Bundesliga, what's going on here?
Well, there's all talk about Alphonso Davies now in his contract. He's up for a new one in a year from now.
Anyone?
Yeah, and he was a Salihamidzic guy.
Yeah.
He signed him originally, so that, some delay in his contract being signed right now. So that's one to watch there as well.
Thomas Muller, Joao Cancelo in and right back out.
Right back out again. Yeah, it didn't work out, did it?
No, it didn't. I don't know. I just think overall, if you have a team that's winning so comfortably, and even not comfortably every year for the last 11 or 12 years now, that I can't take the Bundesliga seriously. It's not that the teams are great, and Eintracht Frankfurt won the Europa League last year, but they can't win the Bundesliga.
Yeah.
It's becoming dull. It's frustrating. And Dortmund,
it's becoming Scotland, right? In some regards, a better version of Scotland. That there's only ever going to be probably one, maybe two options to win the whole thing. But generally speaking, it's one. You need some variety, right? You really do.
But they have good teams that I feel like in European competitions give other top 5 European teams a run for their money.
But it's a changing of the guard too. Look at Schalke, for example, who were a perennial Champions League team. Yeah. A contending team, in the Bundesliga, and going to the last day on the brink of relegation, right? So yeah, there's issues there for sure, but what's the solution, right? Bayern's always been the big bad Bayern Munich, right? They're going to always compete for the best players. They have the money to sign the best players in the world, and Dortmund have to raise and nurture and develop young players, and now they're going to lose Jude Bellingham probably to Real Madrid, right? Who's been their talisman.
Tears. Yeah, just, I don't know. But the thing is, we always, discredit the French league as one of the top 5. We always, talk a little bit poorly about them. But even 2 years ago, Lille won the championship. That's the thing. So it's like, are we maybe, glossing over that?
I think we are. It's a really good point. Yeah, we always dismiss France. It's a joke of a league.
Yeah.
Well, it's no different to Germany. In fact, on the contrary, like you said, there might be a bit more variety. It was closer there as well. Down the
100%. So really quickly, actually, on the French league, PSG officially won over the weekend, making Leo Messi the second most decorated, or actually tied for first. Him and Dani Alves, 43 trophies.
43.
Just add it. Just throw it in the bin. There's just, I'm assuming he has a room and he's just like, just put it somewhere.
It's probably a big room, actually.
Yeah, has to be a big room. But yeah, congratulations to Messi and PSG. Over to Italy. Napoli president De Laurentiis. Spalletti is leaving. He's free.
Yeah, this was rumored last week, right?
Okay, also, sorry, this.
Love that tat.
The tattoo of Napoli. He got his first tattoo, by the way.
Yeah, it's his first one. It's better than Mourinho's.
Oh, this is
last year.
Class,
That's a nice one, actually.
Under the skin, I'm running Napoli in my blood.
So when he wants to get a new job, he's taking a sabbatical, apparently.
Yeah, he is.
So when if he wants to get back in football, explain that. Yeah, exactly. It's interesting, right? Did a great job in Napoli, were the story for most of the season across Europe, right? The way they play football. And Spalletti, who's got history, obviously winning at Roma before in the Cup. Zenit St. Petersburg is a good manager. He'll be in demand when he decides to come back. But maybe he's had enough. Maybe he goes, this is it. I'm leaving on a high. I can't do better than this. I've got Napoli back to the promised land. We'll see. There's players leaving that club this summer, including Osimhen. Maybe he sees it writing on the wall at this point. But, what a great season for not just Napoli, but for Spalletti. And they're going to miss him.
Oh, absolutely. I'm going to miss him. I think that, though, there is some respect for managers who know when to bow out.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that Napoli aren't going to be competitive in the next, 2-3 years, but it was such a season for them, such a high. And like you said, I think this team is going to get picked apart. I think we're going to see a lot of departures, which also means arrivals, but will you be able to kind of reincarnate that team that you had?
I don't think so. Can you beat this season?
And the thing is, no, I mean, unless they win the Champions
Inter's
League.
getting better this summer.
Yeah.
AC Milan's getting better this summer. Juventus, maybe not.
We'll see. Juventus,
it's going to be
Roma,
a tough one, right? Roma, maybe, if Mourinho sticks around.
Yeah, who knows?
It's going to be much harder. Listen, they cruised this year.
Yeah.
They cruised to the championship, to the Scudetto. They won't cruise next year. So maybe he sees the writing on the wall. Hopefully not, because you want to see, Napoli do it again.
Mm-hmm.
They have enough good young players there. They're fun to watch, obviously. But listen, they've replaced stars there before. And they've succeeded. We've seen that with Insigne leaving that era of Napoli.
Dries Mertens as
well, right? Who are like legends, icons of that city.
Yeah.
In comes your boy, who I can't pronounce.
Kvaratskhelia.
And in comes Osimhen,
Yeah.
What a team.
Yeah. I mean, listen, respect though to Spalletti in that he's also taking a sabbatical. He's not going to another team. He's like, he's probably going to hang out in the French Riviera.
We'll see about that, right? How long is sabbaticals? What's a sabbatical? More than...
Isn't it a year?
Is it a year? It could be a 6-month sabbatical.
Yeah, I guess.
Till, the big clubs come fishing for a new manager come, January or
come
February,
January,
right?
when everything's in turmoil again. Listen, it could be. But maybe he needs it. Maybe it's good for him. So got to respect it because Napoli were fantastic this season. Over to the Premier League. Goodison Roar drags Everton players over the finish line once again. Everton winning 1-0. Yep, there's the pitch invasion. There was no stopping that whatsoever. The scenes were fantastic up in Merseyside there, but honestly, this was a nail biter for me because the 10 minutes of extra
I know. When that went up on the board.
And the fans were like shaking.
No.
Look, you couldn't, the pictures were fantastic.
They've given up so many late goals this season. Like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And Bournemouth, give them credit, right? We're playing for nothing, but they were playing hard.
Yeah, they
right?
were.
They didn't roll over at all.
Yeah, no.
Jordan Pickford made a couple of big saves late in that one.
Oh my God. At the end there, it was just scenes. Doucouré, really getting it done for Everton.
What a goal that was.
What a goal. That was a goal that was saying, I'm staying in the Premier League.
And anyone that's played football, which is probably everyone watching this, when you get that moment and the ball sits just beautifully.
Yeah.
And usually I'll just scuff it, right, whatever. But now and again you hit it right. He got all of that one, right?
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
The sound even.
Amazing. Doucouré, who couldn't get in the team under Frank Lampard. He's a really good midfielder, right? I think his last 18 games under Lampard, he was on the bench. In comes Sean Dyche. You're my man in the midfield, you and Nana, and he was really good. Scored some big goals late in the season. I'm glad he did it. I really do. But what does Everton do now? Do they keep Sean Dyche? I think they should, don't you? But there's rumours out there, this day that maybe they're looking elsewhere. So it's going to be an interesting week, I think, at Everton.
I think so as well. I think it comes down to more who are they going to acquire, who are they going to get rid of, because they got to go after some players right now because they need to spruce up this team a little bit. They do have talent on this team, there's no doubt.
Mm-hmm. But they shouldn't be where they're at.
Yeah, absolutely not. You're literally fighting for relegation the day of the final.
Mind you, nor should Leicester, really. I mean, Leicester finally look good.
Yeah.
Right? And win handily against West Ham. Leicester, that team, again, I'm looking at the 11.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking, how is this team being relegated?
It's incredible,
right?
Isn't it?
Really good players. That's at worst a mid-table team, you'd think, wouldn't you?
Yeah, no, I think so. But they've never proven this season to really play good or consistent football. It was constantly just maybe they get a win and then just 4 losses in a row. There's something that I think they're also holding on to some players, maybe Jamie Vardy as well. Just they have to look at the future, look to the next round of players. And
well, they have to, right? There's 9 free agents. 9.
Yeah.
Right. Tielemans is gone. Madison's gone. I mean,
gone.
How do you allow that to happen for starters? Mm-hmm. You can get some value for these players and sell them, make some money.
Free agents.
And now they're going to walk out.
And now they're in the championship. It's going to be bad.
I mean, thank you, Leicester, though, for the memories, right? Because it's been, what, 7, 8, 9 years? How long has it been? Around there anyway.
26. Yeah. Oh my, has it been that long?
And just the memories, the stories that team brought us, right?
Yeah.
And Jamie Vardy's been the central kin.
Sure.
He wasn't even starting yesterday, which says everything. The guy's in his mid-30s. Yeah. He's declining now finally. But Leicester brought such great memories for just football fans, I think, with the Championship, of course, and the FA Cup win. So thank you, Leicester. We are going to miss you. Hopefully they can get managed properly and they get back up to the Prem at some point, because that team should be in the Premier League.
So that's Southampton, Leeds, and Leicester all down to the Championship. Really quickly, we have to bring up Mr. Harry Kane. Scoring 30 goals for Tottenham Hotspur, 30 Premier League goals this season. A reminder that Erling Haaland has 36 with Manchester City. Give Kane his flowers, because he is playing with a substantially worse side. To be quite frank, Tottenham have not been good this season. And again, they do have some players that are very talented. But for him to do this with this side, knowing the team that Manchester City is, I mean, I'm curious if you popped him in there where Haaland's playing.
Yeah, and this is nothing against Haaland, right?
Not at all.
He's a
It's
freak.
just
He's incredible, right? But Harry Kane will score 36 goals in that City team this season.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, it's a great point. 30 at Spurs, who have not been good for much of this season. Not even close to the creation that you get in Man City. So, yeah, 30 goals is maybe his best season. And a team that's going to crash out of European competition.
Yeah.
Man, if you're United or whoever it's going to be, I mean, you just give him a blank check, get that guy. Because I know he's 30 years old or close to 29 years old. He's got football left in him, obviously. On the right team, he'll score for fun.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's for Haaland. I mean, listen, what a year. 36, I feel a bit disappointed. Which is ridiculous. He smashed the record. At one point, we're saying, will he get 50 in the Premier League?
Yeah. I mean, listen, anything's possible. That Man City side is scary. Really quickly, Liverpool, Southampton, anything you want to say about that last game?
What a great game for the neutral. 2-0, 2-2, 4-2, 4-4. I mean, it was just crazy.
Yeah.
It really was. I mean, I know Mo Salah went off this week about, failing to qualify for the Champions League, how disgusted he was. Bang on. He nailed it. Klopp did all the right things, but there's a big job there this summer. They got to get 2 or 3 midfielders in there, maybe another centre back as well. You do wonder if they were healthy. Jota, who scored 7 in the last 9 games, if he was healthy all year, what would have happened? Luis Diaz is healthy all year, what would have happened? So they're not winning the Championship this year, but they'd be competing probably better off of top 4 football, I would think. But we'll see. It's a big summer. They've got to invest in that team, and they haven't got Champions League football. So ownership have to throw money at Jurgen Klopp and get players in there, because good run at the end. They're not that far off being a top 4 team once again.
And as well, giving flowers to Mr. Unai Emery. Aston Villa beating Brighton on the final day, securing 7th spot, Europa Conference League position. Really, he's done it all with them, bringing them up. It's an incredible story. And because there have been so many incredible stories this season, it's another one that I think gets looked
under
over.
the radar, yeah.
But wow.
I mean, he won't get Manager of the Year.
No, but
he should absolutely be in the conversation.
Sure.
What he's done there is incredible. Forget Steven Gerrard and where he was at with that team. They were going nowhere.
Yeah.
It was a mess there, like infighting, and he comes Unai Emery to make up for his failure at Arsenal, which is unfair on him. And what a great manager he is. And he said when he came in, my dream is to take Aston Villa to European football. Boom, there you are. Conference League. That's why there's a Conference League. That's why. For teams like Villa who need that stepping stone.
Exactly. Sorry, I just got this through the earpiece from our producer Ellie to give a shout out to Arsenal for beating his Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Wolverhampton Wanderers. Ellie
5-0
loves his
on
Wolves.
the day. Yeah, I mean, listen, Arsenal, there wasn't anything they could do at that point, but come out swinging, show the talent you got, and then let's look to next season. Yep. That's all you can do.
That's all you can do.
That's all you can do. Well, the Prem is over, the Bundesliga's over, but we still have some Serie A action, La Liga, Europa League, Champions League, the FA Cup, guys. There's so much football still ahead. So make sure you're keeping up with us in Room 442, because we got you covered.
Room 442 is brought to you by North Star Bets. That's a win.